Hi there, and welcome to Real Talk with Angry Soccer Mom. This week's discussion topics include anything you feel is newsworthy about racism, bigotry, and inequality in America. And that's pretty much everything. So do not be shy to join in. The purpose of the show, it's meant to be an opportunity for viewers to speak their mind and to also serve as an educational tool for white people to learn about systemic racism in America. So just get started. I'm going to check out my stuff here and make sure I got my live chat going, and we will go from here. Let me see. So before we get started, I wanted to introduce myself. I'm Angry Soccer Mom, and I host this weekly live show. And I also run a lot of online communities, including the Angry Soccer Mom YouTube channel. So if you are watching, please say hi and don't be shy. All my platforms are centered around educating white America about our real racial history. The goal is to help, and you might laugh at this because it might sound just crazy, but the goal is to help people come to a more factual, historical understanding and a logical understanding of our world instead of a fear-based, emotional one based on stereotypes and propaganda. So let me just make sure I am on, because I might actually, oh, Groovy. Hello, hi, nice to have you. Groovy frequency, smooth sounds. Nice to meet you. I'm happy to have you on here. I will see what happens if you're out there. Hello, welcome to Real Talk with Angry Soccer Mom. I'm just getting started, and I appreciate you guys saying hello. And if you have anything to say, jump right in. I go on a little rant, and we'll go from there. And I want to know what you think about everything. So feel free to jump on in. White America's love affair with white supremacy is destroying our nation. And it's kind of obvious, I guess, but like Jane Elliott says, hate is taught so it can be untaught. And as a former teacher, I absolutely believe this is true. So if you believe it's way past time for white Americans to start educating ourselves about our real racial history, please support me by watching this channel, my videos, and spread the word. I don't expect white folks to be saviors. We're way past that point. But hi, Jamie. Thanks for being here. It wouldn't kill us to actually give a shit about our fellow humans. So I feel like support would be the least we could do. So that's what I do, is I try to educate white folks. And here's the thing. Racism in our country, and I'm kind of preaching to the choir here, has gone unchecked, and it's destroying our nation. So is capitalism. It's like racism and capitalism have this strange symbiotic relationship. Trump knew this when he purposely tapped into this group of people who are like the white masses, I guess you call it. They're uneducated, and he conned them into believing that they too have a chance of being wealthy, just like him. All they had to do was keep blaming Black people for everything. I mean, and maybe work a little harder and maybe a little longer. But I mean, they went for it. They fell for it. I mean, and this has been going on for centuries in America. This is how we do things. And century after century, generation after generation, we fall for this baloney. It's very antiquated language, but President Lyndon B. Johnson said it best. And I absolutely believe he gets this. He got this, and so does Trump. You can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man. He won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him someone to look down upon, and he'll empty his pockets for you. I truly believe that Trump gets this. And again, it's antiquated language. It's not how anyone would dare talk today, but Lyndon B. Johnson, he gets it. Kitchen politics, welcome. They will try to appeal the 14th Amendment, which will help the Koch brothers funding and maybe some blue dog Democrats. Yeah, I don't. Hello, everyone. How the hell? How the hell are you? Kitchen politics, we are happy you are here. Kitchen politics is one of my most outgoing people that I'm friends with. Thanks for being here. So part of the show is that I start off with a little rant and then I go from there. And then I want people to just talk about all the topics. I truly believe it's not only morally correct to value our fellow humans above greed, like that's a big revelation, but it's imperative for the survival of our race. And that's just my personal privileged opinion. For me, this isn't about politics. I'm not political. I know it sounds funny. I'm a humanist. It's about being human. And what I see in this nation, not today, not yesterday, not a year ago, not 10 years ago, since the beginning, since I was here at least, is greed over humanity. And it's disgusting and it's destroying us. Oh, kitchen politics. I shared we were pinned at the top. Thank you, kitchen politics. I appreciate it. You're very supportive. I really appreciate it. So we got total greed over humanity, and we have this propaganda that's been going on and on. And the wealthiest elites in our nation are thrilled. They're absolutely thrilled because we're all working. The white folks are working for them for free. They love their racism. It's like this symbiotic relationship with capitalism and racism. So lack of education and willful ignorance are rampant among the white masses. Like, I need to tell you that. And how do I know this? Because I'm living on the earth. No, I'm just kidding. How do I know this? Well, it's because the white masses support a president whose ideology goes directly against their own best interest. And that's disgusting. Yet they blindly follow him and support him in his inhumane policies. Yep, that's why Trump, right, groovy frequency. That's why Trump loves the uneducated. Exactly. He loves the uneducated. Neil, hi. Oh, as long as Neil's having trouble with his computer. Thanks for being here, Neil. I sure appreciate it. And I appreciate all your help today, too. I was just saying, it's unbelievable. They go against their own best interests. White people love their racism so much. They'll vote against their own best interest just to keep racism alive in America. It's terrifying. It's illogical, but you're right. Groovy frequency. Trump, he gets this. They vote against having. It's kind of fun. They vote. I mean, I'm laughing because I could be crying instead. They vote against their own best interest. They don't have fantastic health care. Most people don't even have decent health care. Yet, God forbid, we should have medical care for all. They're voting against their own best interest. When Republicans want to tax the tax break for the wealthiest Americans, Trump's base goes for it. I mean, they literally love their racism so much, it could kill them. I mean, they don't have adequate health care. They wait. I mean, it's unbelievable. The people who want a wall at the southern border are his supporters. They want this despite the fact that that's not how terrorists get into our country. But Leslie, yay, thanks for being here. It's unbelievable. And I truly believe, in my very outgoing white woman opinion, it's all because they love their racism, their human construct that makes them feel big, just like Lyndon B. Johnson said. And Trump gets this, and it's the sickest damn thing. And I know you guys know it. Here's the problem. They believe the propaganda. They believe that blaming Black people for all their problems is the answer, when it couldn't be furthest from the truth. It couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, we did this. You know, I like to kind of keep it real. We did this. We did this through the taking of human beings and putting them forcing them to be slaves in the most barbaric stuff. My God, Jim Crow, black codes, redlining, sundown towns, the Ku Klux Klan, police brutality, and the ongoing systemic racism. We did this. There's a billion other things I could answer. Trump understands the relationship between capitalism and racism. And he understands a little bit more than just that. What he understands is that the white masses in America, they want to feel safe. They don't necessarily really want to be safe. Let me explain. I know that might sound crazy. Trump supporters want their wall. Seems like a really cool thing, a barrier. Never mind the fact that we can go to Walmart and buy a ladder. We can go under, we can climb over. I mean, it's not how terrorists get in. Even Trump's his own government records say that there's not a problem. They support Trump with believing that guns make it, better for everybody. They want more guns for teachers, guns for everybody, despite the fact that every reliable study shows that guns in your home make it 2 to 3 times more likely that you or someone you love will be killed by that gun. This isn't rocket science. They want to, here's the thing, like I said, they want to feel safe. It's all about emotions, but they don't really want to be safe and go with the stats and go with the political science, go with the science. So it's insane. And I mean, if I'm driven crazy as a white lady, this must be driving my black friends and my friends of color and my indigenous friends and my African-American friends and my brown friends insane. This is truly been a crazy run. Let me just, kitchen politics. Regarding immigration, unless one's relatives are Native American, they should sit their ass down and shut the yes. I'm not supposed to say that on here. Racism is tied to their upcoming effort to repeal the 14th Amendment. All right, you got dinged for that, Mr. Dr. Anastasia Doctor. Hello, welcome to the show. I'm very happy you're here. I'm going to need you tonight. Let me see here. Groove frequency. Yep, totally insane. Yeah, I just, this country's out of control. Like I need to tell you that. It's out of control. Kitchen politics. Remove the 14th Amendment, even if a child is born in the U.S. If it's not naturally born a U.S. citizen, then kids take citizenship off the mother, even though born on this one. Yeah, they're trying to, these people, they call themselves, they can call themselves what they want. They're racists. They're racist to the core. You can call them nationalists. That's a really sweet, nice word, but the truth is they're freaking racists. And I'm not afraid to say it, and no one else should be either. I want to call it like it is, and it's disgusting. But one good thing, the people who are like this are bringing out the truth, at least to a lot more white people than I ever did before. I mean, so in one way, it's really good. And I hope the backlash is insane. I hope it's a deluge of blue wave for 100, 150 years more, or 200, or forever, because the backlash to this has got to match the insanity of it, in my opinion. Yes, ma'am, Anastasia says. Kitchen. Oh, Leslie. All 45 does is lie, and his base believes him. Abso-stinking-lutely. And it's enraging. I don't get it. But so what I did was I was so frustrated one day, I actually looked up like kind of a popular psychology stuff on lying, and how he doubles down. He's like an evil genius. And I even hate to use the word genius. Obviously he doesn't want his grades out because he was probably a terrible student. I mean, look at how he writes and acts, and he doesn't like science. I mean, I'm not one of those snobby types that think you have to go to college. I know plenty of amazingly brilliant people who don't, but somebody like him, oh my God, he has no excuse. He's pathetic. And I'm not usually like an academic snob, but I'm just so angry with him. I just, want to be like rotten. He's unbelievable. His lies, Les. He is unbelievable. How he lives with himself, I have no clue. Groovy frequency, because he lies and plays to his base's fears. He's pitting black and brown people against his base. Absolutely. And that is it's a classic maneuver to keep racism alive so that nobody looks to the real problem in our nation. And that is capitalism and wealthy elites, unchecked and out of control. And this is not my opinion. This is what the experts say. Jamie, Trump demands that his daughter and his son-in-law get top secret clearance, even when the White House administration is against it. Yeah, I mean, he is the reason for every new check and balance that we will ever get. And a lot of people believe that Democrats are just as bad in their own way. And I hate to clump them all together, but this nation has a big problem. And that's why I want us to talk about it. If we don't talk about it, nothing's going to get done. And I want white people to get educated so they can get their butts in here and get this stuff and support our fellow humans. Because we did this. We did. Don't make me start ranting and raving. Anastasia, honestly, the Dems who I call Republican light, oh my God, that's hilarious. That's true, are complicit. So even if he's gone, they are so weak and paid off, and they'll do the dirty work for them. Thank you, Anastasia. Absolutely. I'm not naming names because I know there's got to be some Democrats that are actually true to their, their love for humanity and all that, and are as awoken and have vowed to get this stuff till the day they die. But my God, we've got some serious issues. Anton, welcome. I knew you'd say that right away. Anton says, America, the land of the thief, home of slaves, something, something. This demonic, murderous, insidious, venomous, corrupt society is all it's Satan, Satan. Yes, read it. I'm not supposed to say it because he got dinged by it, but everyone else can read it. Thanks for being here, Anton. I so appreciate it. Kitchen politics. FBI investigation, death threats of Representative Omar. Oh, yes, I saw that. Establishment Democrats are teaming up with Trump to probably censor her over her comments about Israel. She wasn't being anti-Semitic. I have been working on that all day long, and I definitely have an opinion on that, and it's kind of scary. Thank you, Kitchen Politics. Anastasia, House Representative Claiborne, a black man, blocked the censure of that stupid racist Steve King, but now they want Omar to resign. Bullcrap. Yeah, I am extremely disturbed by what's going on in that, and we are definitely going to talk about it. Thank you so much, and you might know more about it than I do, so jump on in and we'll all educate each other because there's so much news going on. It's pretty much impossible to keep up. I know it is for me. So the examples of the white masses basically wanting to feel safe, it's all about emotion, whether they're really safe or not, I could go on and on. It's all about fear, hate, and emotions, not facts, not science, and not logic. I'm not trying to be mean. It's just an observation. And they are going against their own best interest. And they're killing people. This isn't like some sort of game. People are being killed because of their ignorance that they culturally hold up. And a lot of white people hold up culturally the ideology of racism. And it's like a human construct. If we all just stopped, every white person said, we're done, and became ultra educated and checked their implicit bias and looked into delved into their own self, studied our real racial history, and got this stuff, it would cease to exist. I'm not saying white people are the savior because that ship sailed a couple centuries ago. But for God's sakes, I'm blown away, and it will never seem normal that white folks don't see this. And I mean, like I always say, it's like, and this is my analogy, and it's not perfect. If you see somebody slowly drowning in a pool, do you walk by because you didn't build the pool? Of course not. Do you walk by because you didn't shove them in? Of course not. Then why the hell do white people pretend they don't see the disgusting, barbaric systemic racism in 2019, this year, in our life? It's unconscionable. So let me see. What do we have here? Oh, kitchen politics. Shake my head. That's crazy. Yeah, that's the first one. Yeah, I heard that, but I didn't look into it. Kitchen politics. Oh my God. Yes. So you guys, we have got to spread the word. And the reason I educate white people is because why would I, if you think I'm going to educate people of color, black people, or what do I know? I don't live it. That would be incredibly arrogant and actually obnoxious, like beyond obnoxious. I don't know more than a person living it. How would I know more than a person living it? I don't care how many books I read. I don't care how many experiences I've had. I'm a white person. My reality is living as a white person. So for white folks, it's a continuous education that lasts a lifetime. I'll never get there. I'll never get this. But I'm okay with that because I'll never stop trying. And you have to be willing to just, white folks, you got to drop your ego at the door. That's why as I blab away, that's why I have my platforms. That's why I have my, educational groups and my live show. People need to get this. White folks are terrified to talk about racism in general. Oh my God, the experiences I've had, they freak out. And I'm talking about it, and I've survived 32 whole shows. I'm not kidding. 32 whole shows so far. It's uncomfortable for people. I mean, when you first start, and then you get more comfortable, and then you get more comfortable, and then you get confident, and then you realize you're going to screw up. And you know what? People are going to think you're racist, and you're going to have to deal with it. And you're going to have to do better. If you're white, you're going to screw up. You're going to feel like a piece of shit. But my God, think about how people of color and black people and indigenous people and brown people feel every single stinking day. We'll live. Overall, they may not because of this nation. So, okay, I'm on a rant. Sorry. Okay. Anastasia, Kim, the Young Turks did a show on it. And that's how I found out about censure. But Steve King has always been a nasty racist. Yes. And the racism and anti-Semitic behavior goes across party lines. I have never seen such insanity about this young woman saying the facts. It's like, it reminds me of The Emperor's New Clothes. A lot of you probably know that story. And I'm not trying to be a goof, but I was a school teacher for a long time. It's like somebody, the little kid, not that she's a little kid, but she's a young new freshman, congressperson. She just said what the truth is, and everybody pounced. I'm not anti-Semitic. I love all people, but I don't understand our relationship with Israel. I don't. I'm the first to admit that. I don't get it. One of my groups actually had to shut down our talk for a while on we had Palestinians and Israelis in there. It wasn't because of them. It was because of everybody else. It wasn't the Muslims. It wasn't the Christians. It wasn't the Quakers. It was just every single time. It is a really tough thing. And I just don't get it, but I'll keep working to get it. Anastasia, individual number 1 sat in a room of Jewish business people and he insulted them and they laughed. And now she's the problem. Yep. Yeah. It seems like, and tell me what you guys think, because I want to know what you guys think. It seems like they're trying to tame these new people, like by berating them. I mean, just my observation, but what do you guys think? I mean, it's like they're trying to put them in their place. And the problem is the status quo isn't good. We don't want, anybody who cares about their fellow humans, we don't want the status quo. I love these guys. I support them all the way. Go to town. Say what nobody will say. Do what nobody will do. I 100% support it. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as it's planned. It's going to take a lot more than a few really smart young women who go in there. This is going to be, they're not going to give this up. I am absolutely convinced that the wealthiest elites have their power and their wealth, and they want to keep it like it is. This system is not broken. It was not meant for anyone but whites and fairly wealthy whites. That's just my take. Anastasia, what the problem is, they are all on take, and she's messing with their money. You said it. You rock. That's why you have to come on the show and be a guest host sometime. Usually there would be no pushback, but now it's a new breed and they can't stand it. Oh, this is going to drive them insane. Great point. Because see, one of my things is we need to, and I was going to say it later, but I'll say it now. We have got to convince everybody we know to not, well, I'll say it in a minute. We cannot have a person who's bought. We cannot have Congress people, presidents, politicians who are bought. It's greed over humanity. It's like they can't control themselves. I don't get it. So it's time to educate ourselves so we can support real equality. I want white people to step up to the plate and support our brothers and sisters who are Black, Brown, Indigenous, and African American by listening to what they think, not as leaders, not as people who get it and know it all, but as learners and people, so we can teach the white people not to be saviors, but to care. Just, it's the human thing to do. We need to unite against the ruling elite and take back our nation, or actually take our nation, not back. I don't think we ever really had it. So it's ruled by us and not the wealthy oligarchy. Donald Trump is the antithesis of humanism. That's my new word for the day. Groovy frequency. The fascination with Israel is religious right. Religious right believes that if Christ returns to earth, he will return to Israel. That's why we Americans pour a ton of money into that country. Yeah, thank you, because I need education. I just don't get it. That's what, thank you, Groovy frequency. Anastasia, that's why we need to get Citizens United overturned. It's legalized bribery. Absolutely. Oh my God, exactly. For people who don't know what Citizens United is, I'll probably do like a whole section on that. It is incredibly important to understand it, because what it does is it allows legal bribery. And we're always saying like, oh, this is Saudi, Saudi Arabians, oh my God, they're taking bribes. We just call it lobbying. That's a $20 word. Thank you. Oh my God, I practiced it. Thank you. That's hilarious, but thank you. We do the same damn thing. We are hypocrites. It's not pretty. Kitchen politics. 1, 2, 3. Oh, white Alabama college student being racist 2 days ago. Oh, yes. God, I have read so many things. Tell us more. I recall. Oh, that's right. Okay. Tell us more, because it'll come to me. I am losing it with all this, all the news and stuff. But yeah, it's almost unbelievable how these people don't get it. If you're going to be a racist piece of shit, I'm sorry, I can't just say, if you're going to be that, my God, it's like you can't control yourself to stay away from cameras in public. And I mean, that's a disease. Something's wrong. I mean, if you're going to be that way, there's not a lot people can do to change your heart and soul, but keep it out of public and do not allow these people to harm. I mean, anyway, I'm going on and on. So I truly believe in Trump is not only the antithesis of humanism, he's an amalgamation of everything, this is just my opinion, that is flawed in the human psyche. It's like, how did that get into one person? Pat, yay, thank you for being here. It's taught. Absolutely. I'm not the kind of mom that blames parents for everything. I get nature versus nurture. And let me tell you, your kids are hatched kind of the way they are. And I'm not saying give up, but there's one thing I do know, and I believe with all my heart, racism is taught. Racism is taught. And that is one thing that you can do. I don't care how your kids, what they do in school, this and that. You teach them how to be a good citizen. You teach them how to be human. And that is taught. No kid comes out like that. That's done to them. And it's child abuse as far. Well, see, I'm getting on a rampage already. Kitchen politics. Kitchen politics. They're saying effing N-word and effing Jews, and America is better off with white people, and it's ridiculous. It's truly like, I thought Trump was going to bring us back like 50 years, but I underestimated that man. He's unbelievable. And I guess the part that I underestimated, and what do you guys think? The part I underestimated was that I thought he'd bring us back, but I didn't realize what a con man he is. I mean, I knew what he did to the Central Park Five, and I was disgusted. Lakeisha, welcome. You're not late. You're just on time. I'm just blabbing away. Thanks for being here. I saw what he did, and I was repulsed. And then what he did when they were finally, God, oh, don't get me started. But he's a sick man. Like, I need to tell you that. But I never realized how he does businesses. He's like a mobster. He circumvents the spirit of the law, and it's really quite terrifying. So I don't know how they got all that into one person, but woo, I truly believe that for 2020, the best thing people can do is, it's imperative that we elect someone, vote for someone, a candidate who does not take 1 cent from the rich donors on Wall Street. Not one dime from PAC money, not one single check from a federal lobbyist or an application for running a super PAC or anything like that. America needs politicians who can't be bought. And we love to point fingers. But the truth is, we need a giant mirror. Like I always say, and a lot of people say, we need a giant mirror, because half the white adults in America think we're in a post-racial era. What a joke. I mean, that's embarrassing. They don't know our real racial history, and they don't want to know. It's just more fun that way. And they're defensive, and they're terrified to talk about the truth. It's like, why feel guilty? Do something about it. A lot of people mistake what I do for guilt, and it's kind of laughable to me. I'm not trying to be like, rude. It's laughable. I don't feel guilty. I'm pissed. I don't want to live in a nation that does this to their own people. I don't want to live in a nation that lies and pretends that we have liberty and justice for all. Excuse me, but not exactly, not even close. It's disgusting. I hate living a lie. I can't stand the cognitive dissonance. I don't feel guilty. I'm mad. I don't want my kids living in this kind of society. It's disgusting. And we don't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be this way. It's a choice. So I will shut up. Anastasia. But the Israeli PM is under charges for what we do here every day. So that's why Benjamin Netanyahu is in lots of trouble. I almost skipped you by accident. Sorry about that. Benjamin Netanyahu's in trouble. He's the Israeli version of Trump, I guess you could call it. And that is not a compliment. Let me see. Kitchen politics. Vote for someone who doesn't belong to the establishment, one who can't be bought. PACs and Citizens United has corrupted politics because of big money. Absolutely. I want someone in there who can't be bought, who just says, I won't be bought. It's called having some personal integrity. What I say to my kids, if they want to do something, and they're good kids, but if they're tempted to do something bad, I say, how much is your personal integrity worth? $20? $1 million? Mine's priceless. That's all I have. When I go down and die in my little grave or whatever people do, that's all I'm taking with me. My last breath will be, was I a good person? Because that's all we can take with us. So, God dang. Sorry, I'm being like a sermon here. Let me see. Anastasia. he's he's a lifelong criminal, and so is his dad. And he's a prime example of generational racism, sexist elitism, and criminality. Yeah, and I have studied him in his past, and I love the way Vice News proved that his dad was actually a hood-wearing, sheet-grabbing KKK member. And they did such a great job proving that. And it's a go-to for me whenever people say, what? I mean, this whole denial, this whole thing about, oh, racist, what? It is such a joke. The dog whistles alone are, but it's like, he's unbelievable. He's unbelievable the way he does things. Let me see here. Pat, do you believe that the descendants of slaves deserve reparations? Oh my gosh, abso-stinking-lutely. That's brought up every single time. In fact, absolutely. I'm thrilled that a bunch of the candidates are bringing it up. In fact, I have on the agenda to talk about Marianne Williamson today. And yes, absolutely I do, Pat. So let me see. Kitchen politics, Pat. Yes, Emancipation Proclamation said 40 acres and a mule, right? That added to that, make sure they strengthen affirmative action and health education for blacks and other minorities. Personally, obviously, I'm kind of a big mouth about this kind of thing. I have my own ideas. But as a white person, it's not my place to tell how it should be done or what should be done. But abso-stinking-lutely, I'm going to say, like hundreds of years past time, there is no money amount that can make up for the sick, barbaric. I learn something new every day. In fact, I'm coming out with a top 10 things you didn't, not you, white folks, but you didn't know about that happened in the 100 years after emancipation. And it's going to be ugly. It's horrible. It's sick. And I'm not talking like Black Hoods. I'm not talking sundown towns. I'm not talking about that stuff. I'm talking some stuff that just, ugh. But let me go back. So yes. And also, as just a person of any shade, reparations, 100,000%. But also, we have to stop the systemic racism. I mean, reparations are fantastic, but this nation is out of control. I mean, if we really want to end it for real. So reparations plus a ton of other stuff. That's just but it's not my place as a white person. I don't get to be the oppressive group and the one who tells us how to solve it. It's not right. It's not my place. But it does really make me angry. Let me see. Kitchen. Groovy frequency. Getting rid of Citizens United would be great, but what would be better is to get foreign money out of politics. The Russians are buying our politicians. Oh my gosh, 100%. We need like a makeover. Great point. Yeah, we need a makeover. We need to. I mean, like I always say, the system's not broken. It is absolutely purposeful that it is so oppressive to non-white people. It's unbelievable. Great points. Yeah, love you guys. Let me see here. T-Bone, welcome to the show. T-Bone is the name of Clifford, of a dog on Clifford. It's so cute. Some racists don't realize they are racist because they have been that way their whole lives. Absolutely. It's normal to them. T-Bone, one of my groups that I do, which I've actually been ignoring lately, is the first group I ever started a number of years ago. It's a group for majority group members and people in historically marginalized groups, every single one of them. The group has, and all we do is teach. It's not for everybody. Some people, like if you live in terrible racist, discriminatory conditions all day long, you don't want to come to this group and teach. It's like teach the people who are the oppressors. The people who are oppressed have absolutely no obligation to teach white folks. That's why I want to, because if I teach white people, they'll teach other white people. And so that's kind of the idea. It's our responsibility to teach white people. We did this. The least we can do is give a shit. So the group that I run, and it's my favorite group, and I feel kind of guilty that I haven't been tending to it too much, but it has Quakers, it has homeless people, it has wealthy people, it has, oh my gosh, it has Christians, Jewish people, Palestinians, Israeli people. It has Black people, you name it, it has it. It has people from the LGBTQ community. We have transgender women, transgender men. We have, you name it. And all we do is talk respectfully and make friends. And the whole belief to that is friends don't screw each other over. I'm sorry to be so blunt, but friends don't screw each other over. You've never met a Muslim? Well, now you have. Two of my closest friends are Muslim. I hadn't met one before. I met a real live Muslim, and now we're best buds. And so that kind of thing is so powerful. I've met people that I would never meet in my entire life in this group. And we talk all the time, and we all have one goal in common, and that is to unite and make peace and understanding and educate. So anyway, I'm ranting about my group. And I am definitely not taking the people. But anyway, T-Bone, you got me started. Let me see. Pat, yes, so true. Kitchen politics. China approved the Trump Organization of Spas, massage parlors, and escort. China approved Trump Organization of Spas. Let me see. I'm trying to understand what you mean. Massage parlors and escort services. Trump and family about to make serious money while in office. Well, yeah. I don't know, maybe fill us in a little bit more about what you mean by that. I think I do, but I don't want to misrepresent you. But I do know one thing is we want to see those tax returns. I want to know exactly. I mean, you guys, this is out of control. This is out of control. He has taken the spirit of every single thing. I don't think that our nation, our national founding fathers, for good or for bad, and there was a lot of bad, understood that somebody could come into office that actually doesn't really give a shit about the people. So I think we need some more checks and balances. But anyway, yeah, tell us more kitchen politics. Russia and Israel buying out our politicians. Russia, yeah, no, I know, it's terrifying. Anastasia, off topic, but how do I respond to a person's comment? What comment? I bet you're going to tell me. I am very happy to give my 2 cents if they're a white person. If not, maybe someone else can help. Vernon, hello. Welcome to the show. I'm so excited you're here. It would take generations for us to recover from all the damage done in the name of racism and white supremacy. Hi, Vernon. Yay. I'm happy you're here. Absolutely. And you know what the crazy thing is? That being said, I truly believe as a teacher, people can flex, they can catch on fast. If we had a system, this is like my idea, no one will ever do it, but we had a federal system of comprehensive education, preschool through 12th grade, in a federal program, we could absolutely turn this over in a generation. That's just my fantasy, sorry. It's a fantasy, but I mean, it's all about education. And let me just see here. I know it's going to be really tough, but we're not even close to doing we're doing nothing. We don't even educate our police. We don't even train them. We train them in how to shoot Black people, basically. We don't train them in how to de-escalate. We don't train them in how to recognize a person who's disabled, how to recognize a person who's drunk versus a person who's mentally, this is a studied science. Instead, you should see the stats. We train them in how to shoot people. There's a reason. The origins of the police, and everybody who's, been around knows. The origins of the police in the South were that of slave catcher. It was the beginning of the Sheriff's Association. And oof. Anyway, Vernon, great points, of course, and I'm thrilled you're here. Question: why is kitchen politics? Why is Trump so obsessed with Hillary Clinton? She recently said she wouldn't run in 2020. Then he took to Twitter. He must be physically lusting after Hillary sickening up. Yeah, he's obsessed. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, I think this, I don't know, but it is really damn weird. It's, I don't want to say jealousy, but he is obsessed with her. It's, I don't get him. I'm not, I can't speak for him, but let me see. Great questions. And anyone, if you want to say something, I'll, just say responding to Kitchen Politics question about why Trump's obsessed, and I'll read it. T-Bone. What's the name of the Facebook? Oh yeah, I'll write it in. The groups that I run are, well, my YouTube channel, obviously, Angry Soccer Mom. And then I have a page that's Angry Soccer Mom with maybe 37,000 people who view it. And then I have a little group of 5,000 people, and it's called, and you're going to laugh because I'd never done a group before. So I kind of named it a really long name. I didn't know what I was doing. And I'm kind of laughing because I was the moron that starts a group. It's called End Racism, Bigotry, and Inequality in Our Lifetime. Now, 5-6 years later, I'm like, oh my God. But right now it's a private group because we got attacked by some very, very nasty fake liberals. And I had to shut it to the public, but I'm really hoping if I can get my act together, we'll open it back up. It's my favorite. It's a place where we see who goes there. It can't just be anybody, because if you're way over the top, I don't expect people in historically marginalized groups to have to deal with full-blown KKK. We help people who want to learn, and they can be, they can say things like, oh, I don't see color, and we'll teach them. I know fragility for white people is frowned upon, but I saw a niche of people who are very sensitive who would get torn apart on the open internet. So I started a group for people who maybe need a little explanation, but want to learn. I just, not everybody learns the same way. And the loudest voice in the room isn't necessarily the correct one. So it's a special group that it means the world to me. And anyway, I will write it in here. Okay. Or if I don't, just personal message me. Okay. And let me see. What am I skipping? Kitchen Politics. Emolument clause states once you're in federal office, you cannot profit from a business. Does it really? Unfortunately, Donald Trump must not have read that. I love it. I hope we see his taxes. I was thrilled with what went down with the Cohen testimony. I don't know what you guys think, whether you believe him or not. He has paperwork to back a lot of it up, and the paperwork doesn't lie. Do we know the man? I mean, we've watched Trump. Everything he said was consistent. And he has paperwork to back it up. So I want to see where that goes. I got to get going to our stuff, because our actual topics. But let me see. Oh my gosh. Lakeisha says yes. Anastasia, if Kitchen Politics said a great comment, how do I say to them, heck yeah? Oh, you mean, see, here's the thing. I was doing this show on Facebook, and I'm actually going to get some software that's going to have me be able to do both. And it's so much easier because on Facebook, not that I'm advocating a huge fan of Facebook, but it is a lot easier because you can like things and you can kind of get more into it. This is a little rigid, but also I'm still learning too. So I'm not really sure, but just put his name and say yes on the topic right now. I'll try to figure it out. I'm really new at this, and I'm a slow learner. But yeah, that's a good question. Kitchen Politics. Alabama legislature made it illegal to remove Civil War statues and monuments. Alabama has a GOP majority, of course. Yeah, some of the southern states are disgustingly racist. I saw somebody, first of all, the death penalty, I'm not trying to change subjects, the death penalty It was crazy. A man who, okay, I'm obviously extremely against the death penalty for very, very, like 20 reasons. And the number one being that 4% of the people are found to be innocent post mortis. That's disgusting. That's 4% too many. But I won't get into that. But I saw somebody marched through the doors to be put to death that had, it was a government building, and it had the Confederate flag over it. And this man was a black man. And I thought, my God, if this isn't symbolic of a lynching, then what is? It was literally, they marched this man, made him walk underneath a Confederate flag. I can't really talk about it. I'm going to get upset. Okay. Where are we? Pat, Old Miss college students have agreed to take down the Confederate statues and put in Confederate cemeteries. So how do I feel about this? That's kind of weird. I don't know about it. I'd want to read more and understand more. In my old age, I've become a little more, before I used to just pounce on everything, and now I don't. So I guess it's part of getting older, but I would like to learn more about that. It sounds very strange. Personally, I'll just say it. What the heck? I think the whole Confederate thing is sickening. I've read the Cornerstone speech word for word a number of times. It's the most disgusting thing I've ever read in my life. Honestly, it's barbaric. And when he wrote that, it was disgusting, and it still is. And that's what the Confederate flag is a symbol of. And it's like Germans putting up statues of Hitler and Nazi flags, for the love of God. I'm very one-sided. There's history, put it in a freaking museum, but don't you dare make people of color and black people and indigenous people see that crap. I'm very one-sided. There's no debate. It's pure hatred. And it's blah. Okay, I think I made a point. But yeah, no. That's just my personal opinion. Kitchen politics. Just write back at Kitchen Politics 123, then write your response. Thank you. Appreciate it. Groovy frequency. Trump's obsessed with Hillary Clinton because she actually got 3 million more votes than him. She's a woman, and she did better than him. So in his mind, he needs to keep putting her down. You're going to get an honorary PhD in psychology. Absolutely. He is a misogynist through and through. A woman dared to do better than him. And he's a narcissist. I think he has a personality disorder, like a borderline personality or something. I think he's troubled. So I've done my analysis. Now, I actually heard somebody who's a psychiatrist, and obviously you can't do that because you have to, but he's kind of obvious. Sorry. I have come full circle. Fantastic points. Groovy frequency. Oh, thank Anastasia. Kitchen politics. Thank you. Kitchen politics. Hey, Mom. I don't know what that says. I-R-I-E. I don't know what that means. Okay. Dave, I'm slow. Okay. Kitchen politics. Yes, really. The GOP majority at the time protecting him. I hope Democrats nail his ass. Yeah. Stevie, welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm really psyched you're here. Jump right in. We're just blabbing away. Anastasia. Fact is, they don't care because he was lying. They're mad because he stopped lying. He was the RNC finance. Yeah. I mean, we have some serious issues with truth. We really do. Like, I need to tell you guys. Jump right in and just tell me what you think on everything. Anastasia, the moving of the statue is symbolism, not substance. They move it from one public place to another public place. Well, that's ridiculous. It's part of the problem. And I have a friend named Dixon White who's like, it's kind of like a popular guy. He's online because he's a super awesome man too. And I just by chance became like really good friends with him. He's been amazing with me. And a couple of years back, and what he says is constantly, he's always saying, and if you follow him online, you'll know, he runs the Dixon White Justice Center. He says, we have never faced the truth. We've never faced it, but we've also never kind of come to terms and repented and been sorry about it. We just pretend it's not there. And this nation, psychologically speaking, that's why hearing Marianne Williamson was like, wow. So maybe we can talk a little about her later if you guys can stick around. She blew me away. She kind of like seemed like I don't think she's going to win, but she got it. And it was amazing. Let me see. Kitchen politics. Trump is pathologically mendacious, just like the people who love him and voted for him. Yeah, I mean, this is like, we got like a serious cult thing going on. I don't get it. I think that there's the Dunning-Kruger effect, the backfire effect. There's a lot of reasons. Unfortunately, I've had to look up a lot of psychology because I don't get it. Why these people can okay, even if they did it first, why wouldn't they stop after the first thing, the second thing, the third thing, the fourth? I don't know. I guess it's kind of like a psychological thing that they just have to be right, I guess. Or anyway, let me read more. Toys. I don't know what that means, kitchen politics. You have to teach me what that word means. Okay. Oh, okay. You're correcting okay, I got it. Thank you. Two things Republicans hate: being called racist and Black people. Yeah. It's I did a video on the worst thing you can ever do to a white person is call them racist because they can't handle it. And it's because they look at racist in a very antiquated, old-fashioned, they don't understand. And in my opinion, and I know a lot of you guys who are regulars here and come watch and support and give me just great information. I believe implicit bias is a form of racism. And a lot of people say, oh, no, it's not. Well, the reason I do is because it causes discrimination that's equal to racism. So you can call what you want and feel what you want, and it can be subconscious, but it still causes discrimination, which causes death and destroys lives. So I did a video on implicit bias and how all whites are racist. And it's not a bad thing per se. It's a continuum. But in my very white opinion, everyone is racist because who's white, you can't get away with it. We live in a society built on, created by, and made wealthy by white supremacists. They're the ones who took human beings and enslaved them. They're the ones that tried to, make genocide to the native people here. We're the ones that did this. So you can't really get away with living in a culture of white supremacy and not have, even if you've never questioned the Band-Aids are pink instead of all different shades. I mean, implicit bias, it's real. But anyway, that's just my opinion. A lot of people will be like, oh, it's not. But let me see. Oh, do you think the PAC and the NRA are too powerful? David, yes. I mean, the NRA, I can't speak for the AI PAC or whatever you call it, but I can definitely speak for the NRA. Absolutely. I mean, that's just a whole nother, tell me what you think, Dave. Absolutely. common sense gun laws in a nation that boasts liberty and justice for all? You gotta be kidding me. We don't have them. That's disgusting. In fact, Trump just turned over one of Obama's, well, we'll talk about one of Obama's great things he did on common sense gun laws. Pat, this nation has yet to even offer an apology for how blacks are treated in this country. But instead, they tell blacks to get over it and up yourself and bootstraps and, oh yeah, get over it. Telling a black person to get over it is like an abusive spouse telling his mate to get over it as he or she is punching them in the face. What a joke. Get over it. How can you get over something that's still happening? It's people who say that are ahistorical, ignorant, and obnoxious. That whole thing is, you keep saying things that are getting me on a roll here, and I'm ignoring people who are, no, you have good points, Pat. Very good points. It's freaking obnoxious. Yeah, the playing field was never equal. We don't just want equality. I want equity. It's like equity, equality that has equity, that actually helps people who didn't ever stand a chance because of us. I mean, the fact that we held back people from accumulating wealth, and every single time anyone in a all-black community started, God forbid, making it, we destroyed them. We did this, white folks, and I don't feel guilty. I'm pissed. I'm just speaking the truth. Like Black Wall Street and stuff like that, it's depraved. But yeah, the whole get over it. What a joke. I just want to go poof, get over this. But anyway, the playing field was never equal, not even close. It's disgusting. Kitchen politics. Walmart's eliminating greeters. Workers with disabilities feel targeted. Really? Tell me more. I did not know that. I did not know that. I mean, I know I was a special education teacher, so I know about that. And I know that they have people, a lot of people who have disabilities sometimes being greeters. But tell me more, because I didn't read about that. Educate us. Willie, hello. Nice to have you commenting. Talking about gun laws is pointless. White men will never give up their guns. How do you think they got in the position they're in? Of course. No, I know. But I can talk about it a little bit. And you know what? I don't think it's pointless, in my opinion, but definitely in America, it is. We truly believe in human rights, except when it comes to allowing our children to grow up. I mean, these school shootings, are you kidding me? Anyway, don't get me started. But yeah, talking about gun laws is really tough. That's really tough. When I talk about gun laws personally, and I don't do a lot about this on the show, but it obviously is a very, very, everything in America is about racism. Everything. Think about what people did in the past. I'm going on. I'm going to go on and on. Talking about gun laws is really tough because I personally, common sense gun laws. Common sense, common sense. But people go nuts. And the NRA is absolutely obnoxious. And they're actually on Trump's, they're on the list that when Cohen did his testimony, I don't know if you guys saw the list of 80-something people, 80 plus people who are being reinvestigated or asking questions from the fallout of Cohen. So if nothing else, the NRA is on it. They're on the list. A lot of people are on the list. Anyway, I am going to, so while you're thinking about what you want to talk about and get into, I am going to summarize the topics that I kind of prepped for tonight, and you can start talking about anything you want, but if I don't know about it, it means you have to provide the education, okay? And feel free to do that. I can't keep up with this stuff, but I want the conversation to be going on. So if I don't know something, just jump right in. Pat, we see the government gave every white person, wait, let's see. Pat, see the government gave every white person who owned slave 100 acres of free land. So this is how they got their wealth. Well, yeah. And also through these absolutely corrupt practices, everything, there's tons and tons and tons. And they literally were white supremacists. Here's my point. And I say this to white folks, obviously, because I don't teach Black people. That's ridiculous. They teach me. So if they're kind enough to do that, it's a gift. And I'm very, very lucky to have incredibly nice friends and people on the show who teach me. But people who, when they're white supremacists like that, there's 100 things they've done to, and this is, I'm telling white folks that maybe don't know, this is all purposeful. They made it so that Black people could not accumulate wealth. Through redlining, through all these cruel things. And just like I said, destroying anytime, like Black Wall Street was amazing. It was Black Wall Street. It was incredible. And they kept their money in there, and they had an amazing thing going on. And of course, we destroyed it out of pure evil white supremacy and probably jealousy. Some things really are a conspiracy. I don't know what to say. That's just don't hate me for it. Yes. Anastasia, Pat, I think I didn't do you justice because I didn't quite get some of the things that you were saying, but jump in because I don't want to misrepresent you. Or Anastasia, we all know gun laws were facilitated because of the fear of the slave insurrection. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's true. NPR article from Kitchen Politics. Thank you. So you can look at that later. Anastasia, let 1 million Black men apply for a license. Trust me, we'd have gun laws in 2 seconds. Absolutely. In fact, there's like this meme going around that says that if every black man applied for a gun license, oh my God, they'd suddenly care. This nation is un-effing believable. It really is. You're right. Absolutely. You're making fantastic points. And thank goodness you're doing it because I'm not. But let me see. I'll go over, let me see. So here's some of the topics that I've prepped for. Jump in and tell me which ones you want to do. I'll just start and you can just jump in. Documents that show thousands of cases of sexual abuse from the children that were in government-run detention centers, on top of all the cruel things. That's definitely something I wanted to talk about. And if you're interested tonight, the aftermath of the Cohen testimony. Oh, yes. 58 ex-senior security officials signed a document, and they finally stepped up to the plate and told Trump he's full of it. I'd like to talk about that. Marianne Williams running for president. Representative Omar, and why, what, how they're doing to her. And maybe you guys could help me understand it better, because I've been reading and listening and I don't get it. Bernie Sanders had his first town hall meeting. A lot of people are very unhappy about his ideas about reparation or lack thereof. I'd like to get your input on that. Trump signed a bill reversing Obama's ban on people who who are so mentally ill that they actually get government assistance from purchasing guns on, like, I always forget, Medicare, Medicaid, and he overturned it probably because he could, and he just wants. He's obsessed with Hillary and President Obama. So those are just a few of the things. Kim, this is Anastasia. Don't forget the government had a hand in all of this, and this country began with a red carpet. Explain the red carpet part, because I'm not completely understanding that, but yeah, our government did this. We did this. White people did this. So, we personally didn't, but we benefit from it. And to be honest, Anastasia, most white people don't give a shit, or they're willfully ignorant, or they think, well, that doesn't, I mean, the truth is 3 out of 4 white people who are adults in America don't have a single close friend who's not white. So how would they know what's really going on? I mean, there's like serious denial, and it's killing people. So tell me more, Anastasia, because I would like to hear what you're saying. Today I wanted to talk just to start about something that's very, very close to my heart, and people who know me will know why. It's probably pretty obvious. I find it to be, as I find systemic racism to be a crime against humanity. There's one going on right now that is disgusting, and I'll just quickly discuss it. Jump in, tell me what you think. Last January, a Democratic congressman from Florida requested documents be provided from the Department of Health and Human Services, given to the House Judiciary Committee, and when the documents finally arrived, they were buried in stacks of paper. They were unmarked so that they were purposely being kept, and the records showed that over the past 4 years, 4,500 complaints had been made about sexual misconduct involving children in custody who were being held in government-funded detention centers. These are the same groups of children who were immediately separated from their parents, moms and dads, at the border. Let me just go over here. Who were seeking asylum, trying to cross the southern border. The kids were taken away without any notice of what, when, where, why, what's going on. And the paperwork, the man who's presenting this as the Florida congressperson, he said the complaints, and I read another follow-up on it. The complaints spiked heavily after the Trump administration implemented the zero tolerance policy for asylum seekers at the southern border. The complaints outlined, I'm just going to say it, and trigger warning, I guess, serious trigger warning, because I am going to say it. The complaints outlined cases where adult staff members were accused of harassing and assaulting children in their custody. Allegations included fondling, kissing, watching them shower, and rape. These are children under our care. They also included cases of suspected sexual abuse of other children who were there. So we have these children. Our government has essentially arrested them, taken them to detention centers, and allowed them to be abused. It's really sick. Shouldn't we be protecting the most vulnerable people? I mean, especially ones we've ripped away from their parents. We forcibly took these kids away. They've done nothing wrong. So I just don't get how this could be happening in America. And I get it, it's happening. But Trump's zero tolerance policy made it so that any adult crossing the border would be criminally prosecuted, which automatically means if they're a criminal, they get their kids taken away. His new interpretation of this old law created the zero tolerance policy and allowed ICE police to do this, to treat adult asylum seekers as child traffickers, even though it's their own children. It's their own kids. Kitchen politics. If men could get pregnant, watch them legalize abortions. An abortion clinic would be on every corner. Yep, great point, kitchen politics. Yep. Willie, thank you, Anastasia. That's my point. When these gun laws were written, we were slaves, and we weren't meant, and it wasn't meant for blacks. If blacks were killing whites at an alarming rate, oh, you'd see it. Yeah, absolutely. This country is so full of shit. It is not even funny. And now people say to me, oh, Kim, if you don't like it, leave. Or, oh, angry soccer mom, you're this, that, the other. You know what? I say to them, leave? How about this? I actually believe in our country. We can do better than this. I believe we have to do better than this. We have to be better than this. A country who boasts liberty and justice for all and basically systemically spews hatred to people who we once forced into a non-human status. My God, it's unconscionable. So, it's just another excuse to not face the truth about our real racial history. And white folks need to start taking some responsibility and stepping up to the plate. And yes, it hurts white people for me to say this, but it's the truth. I mean, anyway, blab on I will. Let me see. I have lost my spot. See, when I rant and rave. Daryl, Kim, they don't care. These are not little white kids. These are brown kids. I know. Exactly. And the last thing I was going to say was, now let's all pretend they were blonde, blue-eyed. This would never happen. This is the most, it is incredible. In fact, well, here, I'll just keep going. But yeah, great point, Les. I know. So happy you're here, Leslie. Lakeisha, innocent stolen because of hate. Yeah, I mean, in the most disgusting way too. God, ugh. It's like a mecca for pedophiles. I mean, Pat. Well, this is what happens when they brought slaves over here. You just stole my line. Yep, that's my next line. Right, it's disgusting. They raped and then they took their babies and sold them. It's unconscionable. So Trump's new interpretation allows the ICE police to treat the parents like they are child traffickers, even though it's their own children. This fabrication opened up this law so that it basically takes children away from their loving parents. This meant Trump could treat these vulnerable, wary, exhausted, terrified asylum seekers as if they were the real murderers and rapists that he fabricated and talked about during his campaign. I mean, most of these people are not Mexican, but because they are crossing the Mexican border, his followers probably think they're those people. I mean, Trump knows what he's doing. He's very good at this con job. And it's disgusting. And so he has like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You see, they're all criminals. Well, it's because he made it a crime instead of a misdemeanor. He made it, anyway, I'm going on and on. Keep in mind, we're at a 40-year low for people who cross the border on the our southern border. These children had to walk 3,000 miles with their parents in order to escape violence and unlivable conditions from El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras. 3 Central American countries that we had a hand in destabilizing. The trip is so dangerous that one person every single day dies. In fact, some of the border towns, they don't know what to do with the bodies. It's disgusting. It's like the children who are in custody have such little supervision over precious little children, and they're in our government's care, that they were allowed to be abused and sexually molested by other children and pedophiles. That's disgusting. How would you like to walk 3,000 miles, have your children forcibly ripped from your arms, sent to some state? Some of the kids, they didn't even tell them where the kids were being taken because they don't know. How would you like that? It's sick. And they literally didn't keep track of where they were sending kids, thousands of them. Add to this our government kidnapping the kids and having them sexually assaulted. Pat, you notice Trump never denounces none of the white supremacists. Absolutely. Yeah. Do I find that strange? It's as if he wants it to continue. Pat, I find it disgusting. He is a vile human being. He's a vile excuse. He truly is the amalgamation of every horrible, horrible thing that humans are. I didn't know it was possible. Neil, the truth of the attitude of most white people is liberty and justice for all except people of color. Yep, Neil, absolutely. So we kidnap these kids and then we let them get sexually assaulted. And when the parents complained, they were told, if you keep complaining, we'll deport you. I read about these cases and I listened to the parents in Spanish say, they threatened us with deportation if we complained. It's disgusting. What would it take for you to stop working, leave everything you knew, walk thousands of miles on foot just to keep your family safe? I mean, what would it take? It's the nightmare that these families are enduring. And instead of being there for people when they're in their darkest hour, we do the sickest thing you got. I don't think I can make this shit up. It's kitchen politics. Republicans are perverts like that. A number of them are down low pedophiles. And I guess the thing is, I have to, and I'm not trying to chastise you, kitchen politics, but pedophilia does not go in the same category as gays and lesbians. That's not okay. And I'm not trying to be like the big old boss, but I feel very strongly in making sure that when I'm, oh, okay, good. Sorry. I just saw the whole thing together and I was like, whoa. But I know you know that. So, but yeah, I mean, what you're saying is okay, let me reword that. And I hope I'm not trying to, I love you. Pedophiles seem to be acceptable to some of the Republicans. It's like, it's passable. And I think what you're trying to say is they don't like gays and lesbians and all that. It's like they have these family values, yet they like pedophiles, or they allow it to. It's a weird dynamic. It's just a weird dynamic, and it's strange. I agree. I've never seen a blind eye turned so many times. Never. And I apologize profusely. I did not mean to say that's what you were saying. I was just reading it together going, But yeah, it's hard when you type. I get it. So I hope you forgive me. So these Trump policies are taking these children away from their parents, and instead of getting them back to their parents, who are desperate, they are now being held, a lot of them, at a nonprofit adoption agency supported by Betsy DeVos, Trump's Secretary of Education. This agency has been under scrutiny for unscrupulous, coercive adoption practices. You heard me correctly. Children in our government who were kidnapped from their parents, sent to prison camp where they were raped and sexually abused, and they might not have all been the same children, are now being held at a facility where they might try to adopt them out. Now, there's been a lot of protests at this place, so I don't know what they're going to do, and Betsy DeVos that's her organization. She gives millions of dollars to. And I promise you, they're making a profit. They're essentially kidnapping people's children away from them and adopting them out for profit. I'm sorry, I'm just saying it like it is. Pat, even the Constitution had it in it that blacks were three-fifths. Yeah, I mean, it's a shame. And the thing, right, this goes so deep. I am convinced that it's not exactly a revelation, that people need to understand, white folks need to understand, our Constitution was not meant for black people. It was meant for white supremacists and white people. And that's why I always say we need to dismantle. The system needs to be dismantled. There's no, it's great to change laws, but laws don't change a person's heart. That's a great point, Pat. Our Constitution was made for white supremacy. And that is a really, really tough fact to swallow, but it needs to be understood. Lakeisha, America will burn in hell for this. This thing that they're doing with, my God, Lakeisha, I cannot think of coming up with the most cruel, evil, rotten thing you could possibly do to somebody in their darkest hour. And it is reminiscent. It is actually, that's exactly what I was going to say. It's reminiscent of the barbaric practices that white slave owners used to do, where they viciously rape the women take their babies away, and they'd impregnate them just so they could make more slaves. And I've been reading a lot about that. And this is what it kind of feels like. I mean, it's reminiscent of that. Obviously, it's not that. The most unconscionable thing on the planet to do to a human being. So they take the babies, for white folks who don't know, and they literally sell them to the highest bidder away from their, it's just, I can't want to talk about it. I just say, imagine these children were blonde, blue-eyed. This would never be happening. And this is happening in our nation. In our nation. Uh-oh, people are saying stuff. Pat, that's right. It was never for blacks at all. I just want white folks to get this, to get the depth of the white supremacy in this nation, because most don't. Mr. F.S. Black, hello. I say all sexual deviants should get the same treatment. Bill Cosby has been convicted and reruns of his show were taken off TV, yet Stephen Collins is free and Seventh Heaven is still aired. I don't follow pop culture, so it's like my huge flaw. But yeah, it's like the hypocrisy is you can cut it with a knife. It's so real. It's ridiculous. That's why I say when I first start the show, anything you want to say about racism, bigotry, and inequality is going to cover absolutely anything, because in this nation, it does. That's how incredibly racist we are. And the depth is pretty much unimaginable. Like when I work with I call them like the beginners who don't know anything, but they want to learn. I say, take what you think about racism in this country, multiply it by 1 billion, trillion, zillion, in other words, like infinity, and you might be getting close. The depth of this sick, it's sick. Like I need to tell you guys. Mr. F, I say tell us more if you want to get into it. I don't know a lot about that, but I do know the Cosby stuff. Kitchen politics. Betsy DeVos was sued by 19 states. It has something to do with the student loans. She lost big time. Now she's trying to make every public school take the Pledge of Allegiance and prayer no matter. I know. Kitchen politics. People, I'm going to get such shit for this. I'm going to say it anyway. In my opinion, my very white privileged opinion, she is a religious lunatic. She's a lunatic. She's trying to exclude black kids by making these special schools that are like special religious schools that are so expensive that some of the people who, if in the neighborhoods, she's trying to segregate. She's trying to like basically make it so expensive that only the wealthy white people, and I know there are wealthy black people, but I'm talking averages. She's trying to segregate. She's a sicko. I know exactly what she's trying to do. And it's like he picked for every, I was laughing. I mean, it's just so sad. It's instead of crying, she picked for every, he picked for every single area that he needed help. It's like for conservation, he picked the oil and gas people. For education, he picked someone who knows absolutely nothing about education. I mean, it's like, it's, I don't know how he finds these people. I mean, if he had a Department of Racism, he'd pick himself, the de facto leader of the modern KKK. I mean, kind of is. So it's crazy. We do not have enough checks and balances. Like, I need to say that. Kitchen politics. Oh, Lakeisha, about Alabama was hit by 40 tornadoes, and that tells us something about karma. Yeah. Kitchen politics, Mr. F.S. Black. Great bloody point. Yep. Thanks, Kitchen politics, and thank you, Mr. S.F. Black. Pat, well, the babies that they didn't want, they used for gator bait. I know. And you know what, Pat? I have done some more research on that. I've actually called the National Museum of African American History. I have read because that's in one of my one of the videos I do. I use that point, and most people don't know. They don't know, and they don't want to know, but it's true. And you should see the memorabilia from it. I'm sure you've seen it. It's disgusting. I actually saw a makeshift video. Well, anyway, I don't want to. It's disgusting. I can't. If you really research it, it's unbelievable. I don't think people quite get, because obviously white people don't want to share their, like, history is written by the winner or the one in power. So there are so many things just finding out now, because I'm sorry, they knew it was wrong. I am a white person who is unwilling to say that we've changed and evolved so much in 200, 300. No. We were still humans. We knew. People knew. And they let it happen. They let it happen. And there's no excuse. The stories I've read, Pat, you're 100% right. The stories I've read, the anecdotals, I'm gonna move on. I mean, I'm gonna cry. I can't. Kitchen politics. Yes, she's a lunatic. She's a lunatic. She needs to go already. Thanks for this. Yeah, Michigan. Gee whiz, thanks. She's a lunatic. Yeah. Pat, I know you know about the anti-miscegenation law. It was a crime for a white person to marry. Oh, I just didn't know what it was. Yeah. That was the law, but yet white men could rape. Yes. Oh, yes. Okay, I just didn't know the name of it. Thank you, Pat. You taught me. Yes. In fact, I've studied actually a little bit about that. And absolutely, it's disgusting. And the whole segregation thing, I read this special article on this whole, why we have this white women like sensibilities. Oh, they looked at me, and it's all about eugenics and not wanting to mix. And it's so sick. It's just so sick. But thank you, Pat. I'm really happy you're here. You're giving amazing information. Mr. SF Black. It was revealed over a year ago that the father from the show Seventh Heaven raped children. Yet he faces no. Oh, yeah. Let me guess. He's white. Rocket science. This Nation is one of the shows that I did was on our supposed criminal justice system. And I outlined at every single point the incredible, disgusting systemic racism at all the way from the slave catcher patrols, all the way to the school to prison pipeline, mass incarceration, everything. It's all connected. Lisa, yay, hello. I'm listening to a podcast called Believed about Larry Nassar, really? Oh my gosh. You have to tell us about it. Dang. Let me just go back up for a minute. Yeah, Mr. SF Black, it's unbelievably, I mean, look at the white rapists we have who get away with it. I mean, I was just reading today about these people who are sickos, and they get away with it because they're white. Get it. Yep. There's a disturbing nursery rhyme about black babies being used as gator bait. Yep. Disgusting. Lisa, hello. Olympic. Oh, thank you. Oh, yes. Oh, that was an interesting, very interesting, and very, yes. Oh my gosh. Lakeisha, what do you think about R. Kelly? Tell me who that is, R. Kelly, because if it's pop culture, I'm out. And if it's somebody who's like an extreme Republican racist type person, I'm out. Teach me. R. Kelly is crazy. Yeah, Lisa. I don't know who that is. I'm kind of all over the place with my knowledge. It's not. That's why I got you guys talking about it, and that's why this is supposed to be a conversation. Oh, and the parents who allow their daughters to live with them are crazy. Yeah, I read a couple of psychological articles on that. There's a, it has to do with group thinking. It has to do with, boy, powerful people truly do need to have more responsibility than anything. It's kind of interesting. His case is going to be a psychological, like, it's going to be a PhD for 1,000 PhD students in psychology. Vernon saw an interesting talk today by a woman who said white people were invented by the anti-misogyny laws in Maryland. Wait, let me just read that. First time people referred to as white people, kind of, because, I mean, are you talking, Vernon, are you talking about that white people, the whole white people thing was invented? That's made up. That's made up for racism. It's completely, it's another made up thing so we can, that's what, people who were Hispanic, when they needed them to be white, they were white. And then they didn't, they weren't white. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's the human construct. And the first thing I tell people who are like kind of beginners, the first thing I tell them, and then I let it settle in, because like the shock alone can like kill them, is race is a human construct. And then I teach them about money as a human construct, and makeup is a human construct, and body types and what's beautiful. I try to and then I let them be for a week, because it is such a huge concept to find out that race is a lie. Just ask anyone who studied the Human Genome Project. It's a lie, And so I give them that, and then I have to let them digest it, because they'll just leave otherwise. It's that much of a revelation. So yes, that. Interview with Lakeisha. Interview with Gail King. He's a pedophile and a narcissist. Oh, tell us more. Tell us more. If you want to put anything that you want to teach people listening, just jump in and stick it on there, the URLs, and we can all look back. And I love how people who are watching help educate, because I'm not an expert. I'm just a person who cares. I know nothing. I just, read a lot of the stuff and I care. So that is that. So I count on you guys. Pat, my great grandmother used to tell stories about how the whites used to hang blacks and cut their private parts. Yeah. And stuff them in. Ooh. She said white men were mad because their women I'm going to try to, I bet you're writing, used to sleep with the, oh, yeah. If you look, there's a place where they discovered, and I can't remember, this is from reading, they discovered thousands and thousands of anecdotal, write-ups and kind of like diaries from people who were forced into to be enslaved. And the information from that is incredible, is eye-opening. It's terrifying, but it's the truth. And I don't understand why white folks don't want to hear the truth. Aren't we supposed to want the truth? I mean, we didn't do it, but it's still part of our nation's history, and we have to own it. Anyway, I'm blabbing. Vernon, exactly made up to divide the people. Yeah, I mean, that's why I give them a week to think about it and digest it, because they hate me when I tell them, because they think I'm lying, because they've been lied to. I mean, I'm not an apologist by, I'm no apologist, but when this ignorant white person hears that they've been lied to their whole life, their history books, their parents, the government perpetuating all these lies and stereotypes, they don't know what redlining is. They don't know that we did this. It's kind of a tough thing to take all at once, and they get defensive. So it's a toughie. Let me see. Kitchen politics. You are giving us information on something. Good night, Les. Thank you so much for being here. You're awesome. Thank you very, very much. I adore you. Thank you. Mr. SF Black. Night, night. Lisa, for Lisa, I'll agree that R. Kelly is a sick POS, but don't let that distract you from the others, such as Harvey Weinstein, Stephen Collins, and Kevin Spacey. Yeah, what's the status on those guys? Because aren't they supposed to be held accountable too? I mean, I'm all for holding people accountable, but not just the black people. Give me a break. If somebody does something wrong, you know, to women and whatever, and sexually speaking, I don't care what shade they are, they need to be accountable. And I heard that those guys were going to be held accountable, but I don't really follow it. So if you guys know, I want to know, because they damn well better be being held accountable, because racism at its best or worst. Chet. Whiteness is a man-made construct that began at Reconstruction. The elite created it to pit poor Europeans against poor blacks and slaves because of the rebellion they both started against them. Yeah, it's definitely in the is it Michelle Alexander? Oh my gosh, I don't want to be the new Jim Crow. I'm blanking here. She talks about this all the time. It's absolutely purposeful. Racism and capitalism have a symbiotic, sick relationship, and it is absolutely purposeful. Thank you for pointing that out again. I talked about it earlier, but I'm not sure if you're there. The white folks need to know. See, this is really good, because what I try to do is I take this show and I get it out there to as many white people as possible. And I actually count on the viewers to help me do that. And this show's not for everybody. Some people glean a lot from educating people and giving their input in kind of talking, and some people don't. And if they don't, I get it. It's not for me to tell people of color or black people or African-American people or indigenous people or brown people that they need to use their emotional energy to teach the whites. A lot of people get something from it, like they feel like they're doing something at least or whatever. But some people don't, and they think, screw it, I'm not going to, and I don't blame them. It's not my place to judge that. I don't know how I'd be. Well, I kind of do. I'd be a mess. I'd be a wreck. I'm a wreck as a white person. So, but yeah. Anthony, hi. No, I'm glad you're here. I'm still blabbing away. Thanks for being here. Vernon, Bacon's Rebellion. Yep. Just read a book about, really. Hey, if you feel like it was good, put it on so people can, if you recommend it. Thank you. Vernon, I don't know how you do it. It must be crazy hour where you're at. Well, I never know. Vernon's are from probably the furthest in the continent, or furthest in the US possible away from us, where I'm at. So I'm just really happy you're here. Pat, when whites find out that they've been lied to, they want to they run away from home and they mingle with black. Yeah, I think, I'm going to make sure I read that right. Well, when whites find out that they've been lied to. Yeah, it's a lie. I think it goes one way or the other. They either decide they absolutely deny it, like Kruger Dunning on steroids. Like they are so unable to face it, they don't realize, or the backfire effect, where they will fight even harder against the truth, even when faced with the facts. they'll fight even harder because it's like their ego maybe can't take it or something, or I don't know what separates one person from another. I do know that the only thing that's ever shown white people to be less racist is these two things. Travel, international travel makes white people less racist. Makes sense? You see, oh yeah, they really are humans just like us, that kind of thing. And then education. Direct instruction, education on anti-racism, anti-bigotry. And those are the only two things. And so, like I always joke around, I don't have a lot of money to send the whole world to, all the white people to other countries. So that's why I do this. I just try to educate because I'm a teacher and I can't stand living in this cognitive dissonance. A country that boasts liberty and justice for all. What kind of bullshit is that? Sorry. Oops, I said a bad word. Okay. I really appreciate everyone being here. I would like to move on to asking you guys kitchen politics. Once you taste the black sugar, you want kitchen politics. The white establishment run by men hate that some white women use black men as bulls is a form of racism. Oh God, yeah. It's white folks do this, and you don't need me to tell you this, but I know. Oh my gosh, Pat, Oregon. It was like the state. It was like the white state. That's how it. I don't know if people know that. And I'll go back to you, kitchen politics. Yeah, it was the state where they didn't allow non-white people to live there. Now that's insane. That's crazy. I don't know if people knew that. That's its origins. This state that will be like only for white people. Oh, sorry, there's no other way to say it. It's okay. You're open. I'm terrible. But yeah, it seems to me that a lot of white people, they want all the good parts of Black culture and African American culture and indigenous people and their culture. They want all the good things. It's just like the football. They'll go to the game and cheer for the players, but they are nowhere to be seen when the players need support or actually want to have their own human and civil rights. Just, not more, just to have the same rights afforded to white Americans. And it's disgusting. And it's the same thing with these weird fetishes of, it's weird to me, and I don't mean to be putting down people, but if you're a racist, what the hell are you doing sleeping with black men? No offense. I mean, it's like, ugh, who would want, as a person of color or a black person, a racist person that like they want to sleep with you, but they hate you? I don't get it. So anyway, that's not really my place to speak to, but I just can't stand women who do that. And probably men do it too. I don't know. Are you ashamed of your racist heritage, Kim? No. Not really. How do I answer that? I'm ashamed. Here's the thing. I'm not really sure how to answer that. That's a good question. I'm trying to think about that. My personal racist heritage, I don't have a ton of it because my parents escaped from one parent. In my family, we have many religions and many ethnicities, kind of like all mixed in. So we didn't really get her during that time. And my parents are only children. So I don't really know much about that, but I can say that I'm not ashamed of my personal one. I guess that's what you're asking, because I don't know anything about it. Like Zippo. I do know one part of my family escaped Germany before the Nazis killed everybody who was Jewish and Black. And I know that. And I've never heard my parents or any of my grandparents speak a racist utterance in their entire life. Now, granted, they didn't teach me anything about all this. I had to figure it out, but I've never heard them. So like, I'm unaware of it, I guess you could say. So if I don't know about it, I can't really be ashamed. I don't know about my background at all. I hope that answers the question, but am I ashamed of America? And do I take kind of ownership of, yeah, but I don't really have any shame. Maybe I should, but I'm not feeling shame. I'm angry. I don't have guilt because I haven't done anything wrong. I'm angry that I just think our country's better than this. We have to be better than this. This is barbaric. So I don't know if I answered your question. That's a good question. You kind of like got me there. I'm like ashamed that it's not the word, because I don't know what they did. I'm sure they did something, but I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna move on. Sorry, I'm like, you got me there like a deer in headlights. Kitchen politics. Wasn't trying to be funny or gross. I know you weren't. No, hey, we're adults. We can talk about this. No, it's disgusting. I read about they used to take people and put them in breaking farms that break their spirit. They used to take men and basically rape them in front of their, enslaved people who were forced into an enslaved status and rape them in front of people to break their spirit. At least, I don't want to go into it, but we all know kitchen politics. I get it. They had places where they would basically produce humans on farms. It's unbelievable. I know you weren't trying to be funny or gross. Portland was the birth of the KKK. Thank you, Pat. I did not know that. Thank you. Anthony. That state would be boring without a variety of people. Yeah, and really racist too. But yeah, absolutely, Anthony. Absolutely. Kitchen politics. Actor John Wynn was like that. Married 2 Latinas. Yes, I heard some really bad things about him. Historically, I didn't know if they were true or not, but even though he hated them and Blacks, it makes no sense. Yet that's the thing, kitchen politics. I don't get it. Like, you'll love, you want to be with them physically and intimately, but you're rotten to them and you don't think that they're equals. That's just plain weird. I'm not trying to be judgmental, but like, people tell me, okay, some of my Black friends tell me it's like a fetish or something. I'm like, what? That's, yeah, I believe it though, because people do it. And yeah, pretty kind of scary. Pat, well, I will put you on the spot here. Okay, you were taught not to, you can put me on the spot. I'm good with it. Let me just read it. Date or make, or was I taught to not, or no. I know the average person, especially white women, my first boyfriend was Japanese Hawaiian. One of my best friends was Black, and I didn't know it because, yeah, that's me. I didn't really I was a little slow. That's not putting me on the spot. You can ask me anything you want. No. My parents never. No, and my boyfriends I had like 2 boyfriends. They were all different ethnicities. Always, my parents didn't, that's the thing. They didn't tell me anything. I learned about racism. Okay, you're going to think this is terrible. When I was 12, I learned about racism because the little boyfriend that I had, yes, I had a boyfriend at 12. Okay, sorry, just saying. They were Japanese Hawaiian and his parents hated white people. And I didn't understand why they hated me because I was 12. And my boyfriend explained it to me and I was like, whoa, mind equals blown. Because I knew what it was when I was 6, but I didn't know there was a word for it, and it was like a thing. I just knew something was very wrong, the way people were treated. But I was a slow learner. But yeah, no, my parents, that's not putting me on the spot. No, never. The only thing my dad ever said to me, which blew my mind, was one day we were having, and I'll just not to try to make this about me, but this is an insight to learn about my dad. One time, okay, I had two sisters, and we had a very, very free-for-all childhood because my parents were professionals and they were too busy and all that. So we had to pretty much do whatever we wanted. And so our friends would jump the balcony and come over at all. I don't know if I should be saying this, but I'm going to go for it. They would jump the balcony and they would come over. They would go around the house and literally climb up the side of the house of the balcony and jump it to come over. And we had sliding glass doors and they'd come in. Well, one day my dad took me aside and he said, Dan can't do that anymore, ever. And I was like, why? And he goes, Kim, trust me, he cannot do it. I didn't know what he was talking about. Well, Dan was one of my friends who was Black. And he said, no, he'll get killed. And I was like, but everybody does it. What are you talking about? And it was a very, very rude. It's the only thing he's ever told me is that people are so racist that they'll think he's not just one of the kids. They'll think he's a bad guy. And that, like, I was around 13 and I was like, whoa. So no, my dad said, I'll talk to him. Don't worry. But I don't want him to get killed. So, and I was just like, insane. It was insane. I didn't know. I was a little kid. Okay, enough about me. Put me on the spot anytime, Pat. I'll answer anything, and I think I will. Mr. F is back. Many racists tend to fetishize. I know that word. I can't say fetishize people of color. So it's become sort of a sexual taboo. Yeah. I actually read a little bit about that, and people tell me, because some of the people who like follow me on they teach me, and people have asked me that, and I'm like, what? They say you do it because you love Black men. I'm like, whatever you say. I love all people. And somebody actually asked me, do you love Black men? I'm like, that's the weirdest question I've ever heard of in my life. I don't know all Black men. How would I know if I love all Black men? This is a weird thing. I think what they were trying to say is, would you date? If I was single, of course, but it was just a weird question because it's not how I think. But I get it, but it's weird. That's just not how I think. If somebody asked me, do you love all white men? I'd say, I don't know all white men. It's just a weird question. Anyway, Neil, white. Yeah, the whole fetish thing, I don't get it, but I've definitely heard people talk about it. White women are prejudiced, racist, hateful, and liars when they say they have no problem with Black people, except my great-grandfather who helped the slaves escape with the Underground Railroad. That is so awesome to have that in your family history. It's something to be really proud of. Whoa, it says go down. Okay, I'm missing comments. Let me see here. Neil, that is just awesome. I was so depressed the other day about just, sometimes I get down about this stuff. I read about my first abolitionists that were white, and I had never read about an abolitionist in my entire life. And it brought tears to my eyes because I just needed some hope. I just needed something. So that was what I did. And it was like, I knew it that people, not every single person could stand there and do nothing. I mean, most did, but just needed to hear about one person. Yeah, people are freaky like that from Anthony. Yeah, I'm not like, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. That's all. I'm not trying to be like this judgmental white lady, but I don't understand. Let me see. Lakeisha, our people are useful tools for racism when it comes to interracial relate. Yeah, and Lakeisha, are you trying to say, and tell me if I'm wrong, like white folks want all the good, but then they are still haters. It's like It's a very strange thing to me. I keep saying that over and over. I wish I would stop saying that, but I don't get it. And I want to somehow, my arrogance is that like, if I could somehow get it, I can like teach them to not do it, which is white privilege, arrogant, but I don't get it. But yeah, what what can of worms did I open? Focus, people. Kitchen politics, you know exactly what you open. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Pat, your dad told you the truth. Yeah, they did not say one word about, and my parents had friends from every culture, everything. That's the one amazing thing. We never talked about it. I grew up thinking that was normal. So when I learned about racism, I was like, what is wrong with people? But I mean, I was a sheltered little thing. I really was. Yeah, no, I know. I just wish it would have been cool if my parents could have taught me more. But I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Kitchen politics. For the People's Act, HR 1, create ethics and lobbying reform and gerrymandering, improved transparency in government, and expand voting rights. McDonald's saying it is socialist. Oh, McConnell. I'm like, what? Yeah. The whole socialist crap is ridiculous. We have socialism now. That is ridiculous. These people are depraved. They really are. I mean, how about we get rid of roads, street lights, hospitals, libraries, and they know it too. They're so full. But here's the thing. The white masses who are not educated and are not interested in being educated, they love this shit. It's great. They eat it up. They don't have to think. They can go, yeah, that's it. I mean, it is terrifying. Let me see. Pat, do you know what the Green Book was about? No. Tell me. I want to know. I want to get educated by people who know stuff because I want to know. Mr. F. S. Black, that seems to be everyone's go-to explanation to rationalize your stance. You got to take it with a grain of salt. What are you, don't hate me, what are you referring to? My stance on what? Lakeisha, Kim, they want our melon, but they hate us. Yeah, it's such a weird thing. I know. Yeah. That seems to be everyone's go-to explanation to rationalize your stance. You gotta take it with a grain of salt. Tell me more. Tell me what you're referring to, because I'm losing my mind here. Sorry about that. Kitchen politics. Get rid of socialist snowplows that create the streets. That clear the street after winter storms. I think personally, Bernie made a big mistake when he mentioned socialism at the time that he mentioned it, only because he said, like Norway, Sweden, Denmark, in one of his speeches, and I was like, oh God, he did not say that. Because people are, in older generations, are brainwashed to think that communism is social, like they're confused. They don't know what socialism is. And our schools purposely tried to like trick us. So if you guys can stay up, I have tons of more stuff to cover, and I want to know what you think, and I need to hear from Mr. SF Black. Tell me what I was talking about, because I feel so bad. I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to. It's the lack of sleep. Sorry. How about some of the key takeaways? What do you guys think? I am dying to know. What do you think about the Michael Cohen hearings and the House Oversight Committee last week and all that? Neil, the Republicans are wanting people to think that socialism is the government running every aspect of our lives. Absolutely. They're lying. They're completely disingenuous. They're full of shit. They are making it what it's not, and they know it. Great point. Great point, Neil. Pat. Okay, the Green Book was made for Blacks so that they can travel. Oh, yes. I know what that is. Yes. Okay. I didn't know it was called that. Yes. so they can travel safely from one county to the next. To see the average Black person couldn't go into certain places at all. Yeah. And also sundown towns and things like that. You have to write. Yes. It's so funny because like I'll read about stuff, but I didn't know that's what it was called. Thank you. So I'm going to read what you say so other people can learn if they don't know, which a lot of white folks might not know. Okay, the Green Book was made for Blacks so that they could travel safe throughout the country. See, the average Black person couldn't go into certain places at all. Oh, absolutely. And you'll be blown away if you don't know this already. Not you, Pat, you probably know this, but white folks, sundown towns were everywhere, like everywhere. It's unbelievable. If you look at their research, it's terrifying is what it is. Thank you, Pat. I appreciate you teaching everybody. Yes, I know. Kitchen politics, Scandinavia, $23 an hour. I know. It's my older sister lived in Norway for 3 or 4 years. I know a little bit about from her experience. And my son dated the Denmark's exchange student for a long story, and we learned a lot about it from her too. $15 an hour. I heard that the House just passed 15 an hour, or at least is putting it through. It was very breaking news when I started to talk tonight. Pat, there's a movie out that is on the Green Book. Okay, thank you. I heard about it, but I didn't know that's what they called it. Mr. F.S. Black, thank you. I was referring to when people ask if you date interracially, when they see how adamant you are about civil rights and going against, yeah, and I'm going to go back to what you said. Thank you for clarifying that. Yeah. People ask me kind of questions like that sometimes, but I'm okay with it as long as they don't already have their mind set up. Like sometimes the racist people will say what they want to be true, and they don't really care what is really true. So that's kind of annoying. Let me just go. I'm going to go back to what you were saying before. That seems to be everyone's go-to explanation for yes. I promise it's laughable. It's laughable. I get YouTube is the worst. Facebook is like everyone kind of like knows you're a friend of a friend of a friend. So I rarely get horrific stuff, but YouTube's the worst because it's kind of like more anonymous. So I get disgusting. I mean, like, but guess what? It's not even remotely, not even a billion, trillion, zillionth of what Black people have to deal with. I'll live. I mean, I'll live. It's nothing. And I don't mind people asking me questions, even the racists, like super over the top racist people, but usually they don't ask me questions. They just tell me what I think. And it's usually like nasty. It's nothing. It is absolutely nothing compared to what my brothers and sisters who are Black go through and other people of color. And you know what? The bottom line is people can think what they want of why I do it. They don't know my heart. They can find out if they want. Go watch all my videos. I'm pretty upfront. Or they can think what they want. But you know what? I'll never stop. In my mind, racism is the #1 worst problem in the entire world. It impacts everything. And it's made up. And it's fake. And it's evil. It's unconscionable. It's a crime against humanity. I'm not taking this from somebody's writing or reading. I think it is a crime against humanity, an ongoing atrocity. And it would solve, oh my God. I could go on, and I kind of do. But yeah. People just want to think what they want to think. It's like, whatever. Thank you. Oh yeah, a curfew, all right. The Black codes. Have you read some of the, Pat, have you read some of the Black codes in some of the southern states? Because they were all like slightly different. It was, and I can't remember which one it was, and I don't want to misquote. It was a crime for a white person, get a load of this, written in the black codes. It was a crime for a white person to stand up against discrimination. It was a crime in that I was like, it was a crime for if they, and I'm not making this about white people, but I'm talking like they covered their bases. These people were sickos. Right. Mr. FS5, I got to go back to something earlier. If there's any Canadian citizens here, is there an update on the 4 missing black kids in Toronto? Oh my gosh. Maybe if someone's not busy, you could tell us about that and do that, because I want to know too. Neil, kitchen politics. You're right about the $23 an hour. Families can't exist on $15 an hour. We're behind the times, and I question, will we ever wake up? Not while we're run by the wealthy elite. They like to keep us there because they get corporate welfare. They can basically keep people impoverished who work 40, 50 hours a week, keep them needing assistance. They can pay no taxes. And I mean, it's corporate welfare. Thank you, Mr. F. Black. Hopefully somebody will say something about it. Pat, racism is power and control, and blacks can't be racist because they have had no, absolutely. And I cannot tell you how many, when I teach understanding systemic racism about power and all that, that's the number one thing the white folks who are supposed to be learning, they go nuts. They go nuts. And it's like, stop mincing words. If you don't get it, that's fine. You will eventually, but don't, it's as if they want to stick to that. Well, that doesn't make sense, because Webster's dictionary. Well, I say, guess what? Webster's dictionary was made by a white guy. They just don't get it. It's almost like too advanced. It's crazy. But Pat, yeah, absolutely. If you can't be racist if you don't have the power to discriminate on a big scale. Some people get it, but that's more advanced than people think, because I get a lot of crap for that when I'm teaching the beginners. Great points. Neil, oh, I forgot, the right will tell you it will put the small business person out of business. Of course they will. Of course they will. And it's ludicrous. Enjoy it, bro. You like my rainbow, like back here? Thank you. I got it a while ago. It's very solid. Knock, knock, knock. Just kidding, I lied. Let me see. So if a black, enjoy it, bro. So if a black person calls a Mexican a racial, it's not, well, do you guys want to answer that, or do you want me to? It is, see, racism is a specific term that has a power base to it. And jump in anytime, anybody, has a power base to it. It can be prejudice, and it can still discriminate, but it's not considered racism by, well, I've actually lost friends over this definition, but, because when you're in a group and you're running a social media group, you have to have some sort of definitions. And I choose the one that the people living it tell me is a best practice. So if some people didn't like that, then they can get mad and stuff, but I can't invent this stuff. I have to go by what I'm taught by the people living it. So I had some people get really mad at me about that, but yeah, they can be bigoted. They can be prejudiced. They can, I actually did a video on this. They can discriminate, but racism, the word racism is a system, and it's a great question. It has to have a power-based component that actually has the ability to cause harm. Not one-on-one, like calling someone a name, whatever, but actually taking an action that is going to oppress you other than hurt your feelings. Lisa, what would it, I hope that helps. What would it be like if everyone were independent contractors negotiating for what they want as a wage, co-purchasing workers' comp insurance, etc., I think minimum wage is not sustainable. Interesting concept. Very interesting concept. Those, yes, and I was not enjoy it, bro. I was not saying they do not cause harm. They absolutely cause harm. Some people think they're worse than being punched. It's emotional harm. I'm not saying they don't, but on a system-wide level, it's basically you're a racist, rotten person for saying stuff like that. But if you're not part of a system that can, it's the system, not the individual. And I'm not really explaining it very well. So anyone who can do this better, jump right in. I don't have to be all-knowing. God knows I'm not. I just care. So, but yeah, it's a difference between a system and personal racism. That's considered personal racism, which is completely rude and absolutely adds to systemic. But systemic's a little bit different. Oh, okay. Pat, did you know the Europeans learned everything that they knew from the Moors? Yep. The Moors had over 19 universities to the Europeans 2 universities. Yeah. People are finally learning, and I am thrilled to learn about the Moors, and people are finally learning this. And it's like the information needs to get out there. Like, if I could ever get good enough, I'll do a video on it, but I have to really, really get, like, I won't do a video on something I don't know enough. Like, I have to be very good because, I mean, I got to be able to take questions. I got to be able to, so I'm kind of careful about what I think I know about because I always have to learn more every day. But yeah, oh, that's huge. One of the fallacies that whitewash history teaches us, and it's disgusting, is that, and this is just unbelievable and it totally makes sense. When people kidnapped people from the African coast, and they were kidnapping people, human beings, who were skilled, who were knowledgeable, who were bright, smart, educated. I mean, princes, princesses, queens, people who ran an entire amazing civilization. I mean, some of these people came over, and after they were tormented and just basically brutalized, yet they still had the will to, like, some of the architecture, if they were forced to build their own hut. I mean, it was unbelievable. And it's stuff like that that just blows me away. They keep stuff like that out of the books. So people today say the worst things. Anyway, yeah, let me just, many people hear the word, okay, Mr. FS, many people hear the word racism and think of it in an old stereotypic sense, not getting the big picture of the system we live in. Absolutely. And mostly they think about it as people in hoods and swastikas burning on lawns. And what it does is they don't understand. It's become more sophisticated. It's morphed. They don't get it. And I actually do a 4-hour seminar on it, just that, to show the white people how it's morphed and changed. And it's become more covert. And they aren't recognizing it. But we got dog whistles. We got, oh man, gaslighting like you wouldn't believe. And so I show kind of that stuff, and it's an interactive seminar where I kind of torment the audience a little bit. Not really, but I torment them in the sense that I put them for ever so slightly for a few minutes into a circumstance where they get to feel like it's not fair and that maybe they're being kind of discriminated against. And I do the basketball experiment. I don't know if you guys know what that is. I basically take a version of it. It's like Jane Elliott's Blue-Eyed blue eyes, brown eyes experiment. It's a little bit like that. I put them through an actual experience, and I target them and I piss some people off, and they get to have they'll never really get it, but for a few minutes, I mean, you should see white fragility in it. They get really mad. And it's so funny because you're not even doing anything. It's like white people would never be able to handle racism. No offense. I mean, I'm just saying in general, not a chance. But it's a very, have you guys ever seen the Great Race where, I'll post it up. It's an amazing interactive experience where somebody says, we're going to have a race. Anyone who, and then they'll say, anyone whose dad went to college, take a step forward. And they show all of a sudden, all these people are way ahead. So, okay, I'm going to shut up. Saying Black people didn't have power. We had a Black man as president. And yes, and that is very, very cool. I think that's a really great thing. I don't think anyone's saying that things weren't progressing, at least in the right direction, but look what they did to him, and look at the backlash. And I mean, it's having a Black president is an amazing accomplishment, but the system is still built in racism. Built in. Black folks have to work doubly as hard to get half as much. Be doubly as great to get, it's just, and it shows all over the place. Things like lifespan. We don't have equality. The power base is still there. And sure, things are getting better, but if people just don't get it. Let me see here. Mr. F.S. Black, the only group that has the power to oppress another as a collective and has always been the majority. I'm assuming you are. Yeah, okay. Here, let me go back and we'll see. People are answering to that, and I'm really glad, because don't make me answer everything. You guys, you know more than I do. So a lot of you do, so jump in. Sorry. Neil, in my opinion, if we use the bartender system when needed, possibly racism might slow. Oh, the barter system, when needed, possibly racism might slow down. I'm like, bartender, huh? I'm losing it, guys. To understand that we are all humans helping each other. Okay, tell me more about what you think about that, Neil, because I don't want to misrepresent you. The barter system. Lisa, further, the employee-employer dynamic perpetuates the one-up, one-down dynamic. Yes, very true. Very true. Mr. F.S. Black, the president is just a face. He's a puppet for the white supremacists in the upper 1%. Absolutely. Notice how he couldn't get anything done? He had all these great things, but they would not allow him to pass anything. And then this backlash just says it all. I'm not saying it's 100%. I'm not like delusional. There have been amazing strides, but nowhere near real equality. Not even close. I mean, and it's not just Black people. I use that as a very obvious example, but there's the trickle down. Non-white people get the same, it's kind of interesting. We seem to have this deep hatred for Black people, but there's a lot of other people who get hatred too. I mean, white folks are equal opportunity racists a lot of time. It's unbelievable. Like, I need to tell you guys that. But yeah, so I do use the model of Black Americans a lot, but it's non-white people. Yeah, Lisa, why not negotiate for your best livable situation, removing the insurance insurance, workers' comp expense, and spread the responsibility of the most expensive part of business to all. That sounds like social ownership of, is that kind of like when a company owns kind of shares of the business? Is that kind of what you mean, like a socialist model? Some companies are like that here already, but yeah, it's I like it, but don't tell the Republicans. Pat W. Neal says you are right on target. Yep. I will go back to actually read his thing, but the Pat, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to skip you. Pat, but the overseers forced the slaves from talking their language because they couldn't understand it. And this is why Black people today cannot speak in their true language, Hebrew. Yep. And Pat, they stripped them literally and figuratively. And obviously you know that, but for any white folks that watch this, they took away everything, their language, their religion, their faith, their lives. They took away what made them human, and they stole their culture away and forbid them to use it. And that's how you force people to into a non-human status. You destroy them. It's so sick. Yep. And race for $100, life of privilege. Wait, I'm just reading something. So Lisa gave us some good information on YouTube. Thank you. Appreciate it. Pat, the slaves would get killed if they were caught teaching that language. Absolutely. I mean, they'd get killed if they were harmed terribly if they were caught trying to learn. I mean, this is all purposeful. This stuff was purposeful. They knew. Education is power. They knew. Great points. Let me see. Pat, the hate for a Black person is way deeper. I think you're saying deeper. Yeah. Yeah. For some reason, Pat, it's like white folks have hatred for pretty much anyone who's not perceived as white because it's a human construct. But for some reason, there's some sort of deep-seated like hatred for Black people. It's insane. But yeah, that's just my take. I mean, obviously, that's a general thing to say. But yeah. Thanks, Pat, for bringing that up. Neil, let's say I am a carpenter and my Black neighbor is a plumber. And if I need plumbing, he does it for me. And when he needs some carpentry projects, I do it for him with no exchange of money. Oh, the barter system. Yeah. There should be no money changed. And Neil, I love that. I know a lot of people who do that. In fact, I'm doing that with somebody right now. Not right a second, but for my house. My family's doing that. But what are you saying about that? That's what I'm not clear on. What are you saying about that kind of barter system? You think it would maybe even out the playing field a little? Or yeah, tell me what you mean about it. Kitchen politics. We are run by an oligarchy, kakistocracy. There's no turning back because a great number of people are too ignorant and would rather remain blissfully ignorant. Yeah. Lisa, employee owned, collective, yes and no. Owners and contractors negotiate what they want and are not subject to government oversight. Here in the Bay Area, tech companies do this with contractors. Yeah. Okay, I kind of know, I think I knew what you meant. Yeah, cool. Kitchen politics. Will it reach a point where the straw will break and the camel's back, making a 99% react like the French society did during the Revolution? Yeah, I think there's going to be a point, and I don't want to, I'm going to probably wrap it up in a little bit, but I'm like keeping everybody up, and oh my God, there's so many more topics we could talk about. It's insane. I think what you're saying, and tell me if I'm wrong, is that we're going to come to a point, and I say we, I mean, yeah, what will it take? We're going to come to a point like they do when I was a teacher in Compton, California, I was there during the LA riots, and there came a point where things were so incredibly unfair, just so incredibly unfair and so wrong. People had nothing left to lose. And I'm not saying I'm speaking for why people riot and why people turn to violence or anything like that, but there will come a time, if we don't get this straightened out, where people have nothing left to lose. And personally, I think they want the Civil War again. I think that Trump's the best thing that ever happened to them. The very, very hateful people who just don't want to include everybody in America. They've been waiting for that president for, they've been waiting since the Civil War. They're generation after generation passing on the racism. So what will it really take? I don't know. Pat, when the white men went to Africa and saw the Sphinx represents black, they shot the nose off because they couldn't bear to look at them. And this is how whitewashing started as well. Great point. You should come on this. You should be a co-host one time. You have really, really good, like really unique, very truisms that are really, thank you so much. Yeah. I mean, basically, and I'm not a psychologist, obviously, but the jealousy factor, like, what I tell people, and this is going to sound mean, but if the best thing you ever freaking did was be born white, you have a lot of issues. It's just like, I don't know if it's self-esteem, but yeah, great point. Great point, Pat. Very, very good. Lisa, not soon enough. Yeah, too many divided factions against each other. Yeah, I always say, and I've been saying this for like a lot of years on my sites and stuff that I do, when people in historically marginalized groups, when they get together and unite with their educated allies, there will be no stopping equality because of the sheer numbers. That's why I'm really, really, really into intersectionality, and I'm kind of militant about it actually in one of my groups, because, well, it's the group that I was telling you guys about earlier, that has literally every person of every, people in every historically marginalized group on the planet. And so I kind of have to be. If you're not intersectional, then you're going to be disrespectful. And like, I hate to bring up the topic, but some feminists and some people who are not feminists, just whatever, do not understand that women who are born transgender are women, and they won't accept that. And they can either be in the group and keep their mouth quiet about it, because I will not allow that. I mean, as the person who's running the group, I can't let that happen. So the uniting has to be an education for everybody to get that, the rising tide thing, that whole rising tide, brings everybody up, and we got to make the numbers. So they need together, Lisa, they need to come together for a common cause. People are on low simmer. Neil, it does two things. It saves both of us money. Thank you, Neil, for both of us money, and it'll bring us closer and understanding each other, and racism is not an issue between us. Neil, that is an amazing perspective. I love it. You're right. You're right. And it's kind of funny, because that was the whole thing with the group that I did. The group, the very first group I started a long time ago, is the premise was 3/4 of all white people don't have a single close friend who's not white. Well, if they don't have a single close friend who's not white, they probably don't know. I mean, I'm guessing they don't have that. They don't have a person that's a really close friend in the LGBTQ community. They don't have a close friend who's not, Christian or, Catholic or whatever, like the go-to religion is. They probably don't know anyone who's homeless. They probably don't know anyone who's Quaker. So why not make some friends? And it's been an experiment for me, and I've seen fails, but I've seen amazing things. The best thing I ever saw come out of that group, and I just got to tell you this really fast, was a woman who and this happened a lot, a woman who came in. I don't see color. And we're like, okay, so we know where we're at. And she ended up leaving the group 2 years later and her reason, she probably doesn't remember this, and it just killed me. And it was like, she left the group because she couldn't stand all the newbies talking about how disgusting it was. She thought it was so disgusting that they keep talking about they don't see color. And I was like, oh my God, you were like that. So it was like a beautiful thing. And then one other thing really, really fast, a woman who was raised by KKK family. Her father was actually like in it, kind of, I guess you could say. She was older. She was like way older. So, you'd think like a stereotypical, oh, she'll never learn. No, she said, we were really proud of her. Our whole group like totally applauded her. She said, I finally got my voice. And she told her racist neighbor where to go. And it was like, we were so proud of her. So, I mean, they're little things, but if they're not going to teach us top down, if our government is going to try to keep us, it has to be grassroots, bottom up. White folks need to learn this and teach other people, because it's not the responsibility of people in historically marginalized groups to teach the oppressor. So I'm going to wrap it up. I could keep talking forever. This is just really important to me. But I also should probably let you guys go and get some sleep. Interesting. Lisa, personally, I think they are too lazy to actually pull a civil war. They are hoping we all hate each other and won't come together. Save them bullets. Yeah. I mean, they don't have, they're ludicrous. The whole premise is this is just a made up thing to make them feel good about themselves. They know they're lying. They're not superior. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. There's no superior race. We're all the same race. So they're, yeah. I don't know though. It's almost like a club for losers who don't feel good about themselves. And also, it's also a club for people who don't have the support they need. I don't want to dehumanize, but there's nothing on this planet stopping someone from learning. We have the internet, but because of their like emotional state and self-esteem, maybe they have to feel good about something, and that's all they have. I'm not making excuses. I'm not being an apologist. I'm just guessing. Let me just run through these. I don't know. I did one of my sweet friends that I absolutely adore, and please bear with me. He's somebody I just met over the past, year, over the past 12 months. And he did the honor of letting me interview him. And he was the former head of the Mississippi Aryan Brotherhood. And I did a 2.5 hour interview with him, and it was a life-changing experience. Okay. And it really was a life-changing experience for me. We are friends. He is completely, oh my God, he advocates. He works for an organization that gets the people who want to leave to escape. And he helps support them, because when you leave that, you have no friends. The people want to kill you because you're supposed to be in for life. And people who don't want to kill you think you're a monster. So if you want to really get out, my friend got out, but he almost paid the ultimate price. He got shot in the face and in the brain at point blank range, and he is legally blind now, and he survived. And he had a bullet. I do a whole interview series with him. It's like I could watch it over and over again. It's It was really cool. Anyway, I am just blabbing. That's in like part 1, part 2, part 3, and then part 4 is going to come out when I get my act together. But let me see. Personally, I think yeah, okay. Kitchen politics. By 2025, USA will be a true majority minority country. What will Trump-type people do when that happens? The South will never rise again. I don't know, but it's kind of interesting. I could see them trying to be kind of like South Africa was, like have the minority, but like still be like the rulers. I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that white supremacists are going to die before they give up their power. I mean, true wealthy white supremacists who, you know? So, but yeah, we will see. Let me see. Kitchen politics, 2045. I meant to say not 2025. Oh, no, it's fine. I knew what you meant. Pat, well, they want to start a war to reduce the population. Yeah, I've heard things like that too. Neil, Pat, Agenda 2130 is already in progress to reduce the population. This is whoops, I lost you. This is a worldwide movement. Neil is a resident expert about these kind of things. Sorry to put you on the spot, Neil. But tell us more. Neil is a ludicrously great source for information that we want to know. He used to run his own very successful syndicated talk radio show. I'm saying it right, in America a while back, and he's got connections. Sorry, I'm giving it away, and he helps me tremendously. So it's fun to say that. Pat, I know a fair bit when it comes to history here. Yeah, I can tell. It's great. I'm just really jazzed you're jumping in. Lisa, I think at some point Trump will try to tip Black Americans or other minorities towards Republicans. If he thinks he will lose 2020, release prisoners, do something for the DACA. Yeah, he absolutely. He's full of these basically propaganda tricks. Like he tried to open up the Emmett Till case again. I don't know if you guys knew that. Tried to open up the Emmett Till case, and it was just for propaganda. He doesn't give a crap about justice. I mean, what he did to the Central Park 5 speaks volumes. But good night, Lisa. Thank you so much for being here. I think you put good night. I think that's what it said. Wait. Retracted. What? I thought she said good night. Okay, not good night. Maybe not. Pat, genocide. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've read a little bit about that, but I'm not an expert by any means. Neil, am I skipping people? Nope. Okay. Lisa's not going to sleep. She's staying up. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, Pat, I am aware, and you're right about the food genocide. Damn. Neil, much is happening to our foods and plants and animals through chemtrails. Yeah, I told you Neil knows a lot. Lisa, let's get our prepping skills on. We can take a page out of their book about that. Okay, good. Oh, you did say good night. Good night, Lisa. You are so wonderful for being here. Thank you so much. And I'm going to probably say good night to everybody. And good night and great show tonight. Oh, thank you, Kitchen Politics. I cannot thank you enough for being here. So if you believe in what I'm trying to do is just have an open discussion with a heterogeneous group of people about racism, systemic racism in America, and bigotry and inequality, please help me by sharing this. Share. I am like the pusher of sharing, because I kind of ran out of white people on my site to share with because they kind of ran off. And so I kind of have to push other people to like share so that they can get to the people who need this. And they don't know they need it, but they need it. So I cannot thank you enough. Please personal message me. Let me know what I can do. If you know anybody who wants to collaborate, I would love it. Anybody who wants to come on and be a co-host, I would love it. And anyone who wants to have an interview, I do interviews, like I did with the man that I told you about, who was the leader of the Mississippi Aryan Brotherhood for a number of years, and I do them very personally. They are not live, and it's all about the person. They can bail anytime. They have to review everything and give me in verbal, they have to verbalize that they accept posting of it, or I toss it. So my integrity is everything in that regard, or people won't come to me. So if you know any good hints, bring it on. I need everybody's help. So if you believe that it's way past time for white America to start caring and learning the truth about our racial history so we can support our brothers and sisters who don't have real equality, please support me in doing this. And thank you for watching. And I will just look really fast. Is there anything? Oh, thank you, Neil. Neil, you're the best. Subscribe to Angry Soccer Mom's YouTube channel and let them know it's free. Oh yeah, because some people who don't know it, they think subscribe means you have to buy it. Thank you. And good night, Kitchen Politics. And Pat, please personal message me. You are like a wealth of knowledge. This is amazing. Thank you so much. This is awesome. And I will say, go to Philip Scott, the advice show. Sorry. Okay. I'm going to look back and have to go back and check everything out. She does not ask for donations, so we have to support her in it. Oh, yes, I do not ask for donations. Thank you, Neil. Yeah, the donation I like is for you to share and get your friends to learn and get this to white people somehow. I don't know. Do what it takes. But anyway, I just appreciate you guys being here. So you're amazing. And if you aren't a personal friend, like PM me and friend me or whatever, I'm on Angry Soccer Mom. Get a hold of me, and I would love to talk, because I'm here to learn. So thank you. Good night, everybody. Thanks for being here. Okay, now to end this. Sweet dreams. Get a hold of me.